Hey, I'm out here today on Lake Washington, and I'm with Big Bass Des and Chris Ferry of Auburn Sports and Marine, and we are going after fall smallmouth bass out here on the lake. So guys, what's the game plan for today?
Let me start. Today we're going to go out, we're going to target depths, probably going to be 28 to 35 feet. We may find some fish shallower. The water temp should be in the 60s. We're going to target them mostly with drop shots, football heads, a variety of baits today, hula grubs. We're going to fish with beavers on our football heads. For our drop shot baits today, we're going to run our Snipe Lures. We're going to run some robo worms. We will also be running a few Reaction Innovation flirt worms.
What's the difference between summer fishing versus this late in the season fall type fishing? How do the bass respond differently?
This time of the year, they're kind of getting ready to start their winter feed up. You know, they're trying to get their metabolism up and so forth, and get as much forage in as they can this time of the year before this winter spell kicks in. So because of that, fishing this year can kind of be hit and miss. It's one of these times where you can get out on the lake and you can catch yourself 2 or 3 keepers, or you can get out there and actually catch 15 or 20 keepers, depending upon what pot of fish you run upon. Like Chris mentioned, you know, fish are all over in depths this time of the year, so we're fishing, you know, drop-offs, humps, anything they can relate to that's holding forage, you know. So yeah, compared to the summer months, it's a little bit, definitely a lot easier to catch them in the summer as opposed to this time of the year, but we rely heavily on electronics this time of the year.
All right. Well, we'll show some techniques throughout the day, and some of those electronic tricks and features, I'm sure that will help you guys catch more fish, so let's go get them.
All right.
All right. Good chump. Good 2.5. Good tournament fish right here.
Nice fish. So what'd you get that on, Chris?
I was on a 3/4 ounce football head with a Yamamoto hula grub, color 221.
And you just kind of drag that along the bottom, don't you?
Yeah, we're just fishing a rock pile right here, and the fish are just eating on crawdads, and that's a good crawdad imitation.
Wow, nice fish.
Nice fat fish feeding up for winter.
Very good.
Technique here is basically just a 3/4 ounce football head. We're running a 4/0 Gamakatsu 604 heavy wire hook. We rigged that up with a Yamamoto hula grub, which is a good crawdad imitation. It's a twin tail, has a hula skirt at the top, gives it a little more flair when it's just sitting. Rig it on 12-pound line. Basically what we're going to do with this technique here is we're going to cast it out. We mostly use it around rock. We drag it through the rock. The head helps it stand up. It's at a 90-degree hook, so you're going to get a lot of pivot out of the hook. And we just bounce it across the bottom is what we're going to do. The fish just are looking for crawdads, and that's what we're trying to imitate here.
All right, we got Mike Carey hooked up on the football head here. Good job, Mike.
Oh, spit it out. Not too bad.
Yeah. If you notice, that hook just fell right out of his mouth, Mike.
Yeah.
What happens a lot is that when you hook those fish, that barb never penetrates the roof of their mouth. So it's just all pressure.
Because of the way that it sits up.
Well, it's such a thick hook.
Yeah.
You got to really lay into it to get it to penetrate that roof.
Quality fish, caught on a drop shot. We're running a rebarb hook on this one, 1/0, with a robo worm. And seem to be producing some pretty good fish for us so far today. Oh yeah, good one. Good one. Good one. Real good fish.
Good fish.
19 feet. So you better me a buck. There's another one with it. Another one with it. Another one with it. Drop in, drop in, drop in, drop in, drop in. No, he took off, he took off, he took off.
He left?
Yeah. Oh, it's another good one with it.
Yeah, he was. Alright.
So there's another big fish with it.
Gosh, that was
Wow.
awesome. Look at there.
Those are the ones we're looking for today.
There was another one with it the same
There was
size.
another one with it, same size, came up right with it, so they're definitely competing for food.
Yeah, two good ones. Alright. Yeah. Using that. Gonna at some point.
You guys are on your own. I'm the camera guy.
Oh, no problem. We'll get it worked out. Speed. You ready?
He's coming to swim with mine is the problem.
Yeah, that's what it is. He keeps going up under the boat trying to chase yours.
Oh, we got color.
Color.
Oh, I got a little one. Hung up in the line.
So what we've been running into today is that the fish activity bite is pretty high today. So we're able to just pull up, and as you can see, you can get into doubles this time of the year. You know, they're pretty aggressive. These fish are definitely feeding. I think we hooked ours, pretty much simultaneously.
Yep.
Yeah.
Both in about 28 feet.
Yep.
So basically we've been catching these fish a little bit deep. If you're going to keep them in your live well, or if you're in the middle of a tournament, what we're going to want to do is release the air out of their air bladder, you know, to help the fish stabilize. Anytime you bring them up, you know, every 10 feet is equal to 1 atmosphere for a fish, and you expand their air bladder. A lot of people go through the mouth. I don't prefer to go that way. I go through the side. We're going to kind of give you a brief demonstration of how that goes real quick on this fish that we just caught.
And this is called fizzing, right?
Correct. So basically we have the front dorsal fin here, and we have the rear lower fin here, and we'll draw an imaginary line across those, and then also we go off the top fin here, and we almost mark an X. What you're going to do is you're just going to go under the scale at a 45-degree angle, which would be a little bit easier to see this way. Okay, and we're going to go directly in towards the head. You'll hear a little bit of air come out. Rub their belly a little bit and help get a little bit of air out. If you don't hear air come out immediately, sometimes you usually have a piece of meat stuck in the needle, and what we're going to do then is we'll just take the needle, put it in our mouth, suck on it a little bit, get that little piece of meat out, and you'll hear that air start to evacuate. That's going to help that fish maintain an upright level, and you're going to save your fish during a tournament.
Got a good one on here. That is a good one too. Look at it, it's digging. Oh yeah, look at that rod tip in the water. Oh wow, look at there, huh? Good job.
There we go.
Nice. Look at that.
I guess
toe.
that was worth waiting for.
We were just talking about that before that bite happened, that Mike was holding back on us for the big fish for today.
These guys have been hitting doubles all day. I've been watching them. So I guess it was finally my turn.
Nice fish there.
There you go, October fishing on Lake Washington.
Awesome.
We're going to talk a little bit about color graphs. We're going to run the Lowrance HDS 10 is what I'm running today. I have an 8 in the front. They also make a 7 and a 5. As far as the color screens go versus the old black and whites, it makes it a lot easier to differentiate against hard bottom versus mud versus weeds. The harder the bottom is, you know, you're gonna have a lot of yellow. You're gonna get a good double echo. The softer it's gonna get, you'll get into oranges and reds. And then for your weeds or your wood, you're gonna have a lot of blue. So if you look here, it's not that hard of a bottom. We have a thin yellow line. We don't have a lot of yellow down at the bottom. We don't have a good double echo. It's just gonna tell us that it's just a plain bottom. As far as your fish arcs, I mean, these are gonna be your fish arcs. You're gonna have them streaking. You know, when you're getting a lot of fish activity below the boat.
Well, it has been I would say, a remarkable day out here on Lake Washington. In mid-October, we caught, I'm guessing, around 20 plus fish. Most of them were in that 2 to 3.5 pound range. I think we got one upwards of 4. It seemed like good fishing at each spot we went to. We would catch a few and we'd move on to the next spot. And Chris and Des, I'm going to let you guys show some of the nicer fish that we brought home. Well, we're going to release them, but that we have in the fishing well.
Some of the fish that we caught this morning, or today. We released a few this morning that were a little bit bigger, 2.5, 3 pound range that we first caught. And then we got it in a pretty good bite midday. We put a few in the well, just take some pictures of for the end. As far as how our fishing went today, it was spot to spot. It seemed like if we pulled up, we got bit within the first 15 minutes. If the bite wasn't going to happen, it just didn't happen. After 15 minutes, we'd leave if we didn't catch one. If we did catch one, we'd spend another 15 minutes, and we tend to catch a few more. Good fish, especially for October. Beautiful day out. All I can say is, don't put your boats away. Get out here, keep it going, give it your best. It's good to fish in the fall. The spots you're going to find them in the fall is where you can find them in the spring.
Absolutely. Yeah, and keep in mind that these fish range anywhere between 16 feet outwards to, I think, 35 was about the deepest we caught them today.
All right. Well, thanks a lot, guys, for taking me out, and see you on the water.
Thanks for having us.